We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Do my eyes deceive me, or is the market absorbing bad news? Is Bybit buying back everyone's Ethereum? Will the people who run the Ethereum blockchain make a decision to sort of surgically wall off these hackers and defend their network? Because, they can if they want to. There's a couple of options. A lot of them involve blockchain rocket science, but, can they do it? They can, because it's proof of stake. They can literally all get together and say, all right, what do we want to do here? So interestingly, as Ethereum goes, so do the rest of altcoins. Imagine that. Everyone's like, when alt season? And I'm like, well, when Ethereum. This is a big theme in the YouTube member area. So let me give you the three big themes of the YouTube member area. We hate mindless meme coins. We don't like mindless meme coins. We don't like the pump.fun stuff. And I think some of the pump.fun stuff that's come out lately proves the point. Second, DeFi. Okay. Sonic, right? And what used to be Maker rallying along with other picks like Clankerbot. So check out the YouTube member area because we're going to what's next. Patreon is the middle tier offering. Tons of antivirus alpha in there. Like everybody in the member areas gets antivirus alpha first. And don't forget about LuxAlgo, the chart program that makes the whole world go round here. And there is the Bill Noble indicator associated with that. And if you're going to Bitcoin, get your tickets before the market goes up using the affiliate link down below. Now, everyone wants to know when alt season. I don't know. Toby says the word alt season is forbidden. I understand that because the market is so choppy. Some stuff's doing well, some isn't. We will try to sort some of that out just through banter bubbles, just showing you some of the stuff we liked and in groupings. And I think the way you have to make money in this market, honestly, is you may have to pick 6 coins and have one hit, because that's what's been going on in, say, like our HODL portfolio, some of the stuff we had after the inauguration and some of the stuff for February. It's almost like Willie Mays. Willie Mays got to the Hall of Fame. He was a famous baseball player in my father's era, and he got to the Hall of Fame hitting .333. That means every 3 times he came up to try to hit the ball, he actually put the ball in play 1 out of 3 times. So everyone in crypto wants a 90% win rate. We're trying to do the Willie Mays thing. Again, we'll go over some of that. And actually, there's going to be a lot more on our stream on Tuesday for members. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see who is just going off with the McAfee emojis. Okay, we have Routine Cheese, Jay Barbie, what's up? Alexandra, first on the stream with that magical blue liquid. Right on. Bobby in the green button. Nasher, what's going on? The great Santini, a new member. Hammering away with those Toby Ward emojis. Legend the DJ, a new member. Gavin, what's up? Indie Rock Crypto. Tyler, Stefan, a longtime member. Right on. DEFG DeFi. Charlie, the positive cat, what's up? What's going on? Welcome. Bud74, a new member. Welcome. All right, people, let's go. We got a lot to go through. Let's get busy. Yappy is here, the water guy. Welcome. Now, there is a lot of stuff going on in Legacy. I know that there's the hack in the crypto news. And again, I'm not going into it heavy, but the Chinese are printing money and the stock market price action on Friday could be indicative of another round of, let's just call it, yen problems. Okay. So I'm not really spending too much time freaking out about it because, part of our core theme in the YouTube member area is like decoupling, right? In other words, whatever's going on in Legacy may not create the kind of reactions it should in crypto. We're kind of hoping that the tariff BS that crashed ETH back when is the end of that. That said, it is interesting how the orange man just told Elon to crank it up. A lot of people protesting, a lot of people saying Elon doesn't have a mandate. No one elected him. There's a lot of wah about that, but it is interesting. Okay, here's Elon responding. We're not playing around with this. And I'm starting to wonder if there's a reason, right? In other words, everyone's like, wow, you found all this wasteful spending and all these people are losing their jobs. Yeah, but it's like a drop in a bucket, folks. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know it makes great theater. It makes great headlines. Everyone wants to tweet about it. Everyone's talking about it. Okay. But it's only $100 billion. I mean, we're spending $1 trillion every 100 days as things stand right now. So it's no wonder the orange man is just telling Elon to just crank it up. Just keep going. Right. And you have to ask yourself, why? Well, because they need rates down. They need the dollar lower. Period. That's it. They need rates down and the dollar lower. So if you have to create like almost, I don't want to say the word recession, but if you have to slow down aggregate demand by just massively smashing government spending, that's what they're doing. Now, is that Bitcoin positive? I think it is. I think it's very crypto positive because, again, they want, at the end of the day, they want rates down and the dollar down. So this is the guy who helped me get my first job, my first job as an analyst, right? Long time ago. Okay. The goal of everything that the orange man is doing, right, is to reduce the debt burden, lower the dollar, and bring down interest rates. It could work. That is a whole other thread. It's a 16-part legacy thread. Again, we'll get right to the point. Okay. This thread is to stop thinking linearly. Like, tariffs equal inflation or credit card defaults equals 2008. No. Okay. None of that stuff. That stuff is important, but tariffs equal inflation, therefore bad. The objective is to get the dollar lower. And you know what? They're going to get it done. It's happening right now as we speak. Now, of course, crypto is too bearish, paying attention to, I don't know what's paying attention to. We have hacks. And then we have what's going on pump.fun, which is making it harder for, coins that I like and coins that you like to go up, frankly. Okay. But I think there is a lot of good macroeconomic stuff happening, right? Even if the stock market has to get hammered, the stock market is way overdue to get hammered per what we've been telling our clients in the YouTube member area. Like, if you're in stocks, you're probably not, but if you're in stocks and you haven't like exited stage left, now might be a good time. Now might be a good time. All right. Okay. BlackRock Bitcoin ETF surpasses 50% market share despite the 3-day sell-off. Okay. BlackRock now holds over 50% of the market's rising outflows, while Bitcoin's price remains resilient amid industry concerns. Oh my God, crypto stopped mooning. Therefore, I need to get out. The Bitcoin ETF and anything that MicroStrategy issues will get gobbled up very quickly. Government spending is coming down. Stock market shocks, hacks, and all this stuff, as you may notice, aren't creating huge dips. Like this Ethereum hack, this thing with Bybit, where you have one of the biggest exchanges in the world compromised. I would have thought, I was like, maybe this gets wrecked. Maybe this is like more than one day down. And guess what? I was over after I got off the last stream. And now the whole market is up because Bybit's got to come back in, I guess, and buy back $1.4 billion worth of Ethereum. Or the Ethereum Foundation has to take action against the hackers, or both. I mean, something that would enhance ETH's credibility and give them like a positive public relations event. Oh my God. Dare I say something positive? Meanwhile, while the stinko light is back on Solana with Kanye West coming up tomorrow. So ETH can actually use this hack to turn things around. We'll try to talk about that some without goring you with blockchain stuff, blockchain jargon. So crypto exchanges start to fill Bybit's $1.4 billion hole. Okay. the CEO's been on the tape. Everybody's been giving them some love. I'm sure that's very stressful. Okay. Right now, the market is assuming a positive reaction. In my opinion, my opinion yesterday was these hack things don't necessarily end in one day, but when they do, things come back stronger for hackers. In other words, Novogratz from Galaxy Digital said it best yesterday on Twitter. He's like, hey, could we get some sovereigns and some governments to come down on these bad actors? When are we going after these hackers from North Korea? When are we going to put an end to this? Right? Crypto exchanges can't do it. Sovereign law enforcement's got to do it. And I keep saying that, right? And, don't impose regulation. Don't legislate through the courts. That's Gensler. Enforce the law. Law enforcement. The primary job of government is to protect the people. You may have heard this before. Let's do it with Lazarus Group. Let's go. Okay. ETH price spikes on report of Bybit starting buybacks. Okay. So I guess they have reserves or insurance money. Their customers' monies are gone. They're going to use their reserves to make everybody whole. It's kind of like the FDIC. Imagine that. It's like the FDIC without the government. Huh. You mean somebody figured out how to insure deposits without the government? Oh, I love how that works, right? Okay. So Arthur Hayes proposes rolling back Ethereum network. Okay. I would support it because we already voted no on immutability in 2016. Others are worried that a potential rollback would hurt the Ethereum ecosystem. And you're like, oh my God, what does that mean? All right. So here's what I did. I took this tweet from my old boss. How the Ethereum community responds to this hack will be a watershed moment for crypto. Remember, Ethereum is proof of stake now. There are no miners like there was in 2016 when they basically hacked the Ethereum treasury. Consensus will decide what happens. All Ethereum holders have a voice. What say you? Very interesting. Okay, then I went to Grok and I just jammed this in here, a summary. So Charlie says the $1.4 billion ETH hack tests the proof of stake consensus mechanism, which is different than when you have miners like Bitcoin proof of work. Validators must decide, right? Fork, literally, you can fork the code and put the hackers on another chain. That's what they did in 2016. That's how you got Ethereum Classic. Blacklist them or stand firm. A surgical removal of the hackers could neuter the hack. A unified, effective response proves ETH's resilience. Success could boost trust and value. Okay. So let's just leave Charlie's tweet back up here while I unpack this. So Ethereum can just say, well, folks, it's a network and we're not here to say who is good and who is bad on the network. That's the hands-off approach. The hands-on approach is that the Ethereum Foundation could come in and say, yeah, we're not having this. We're not doing this. We're not going to let somebody clean out a huge exchange. And we're going to take some action. So ironically, Bybit's involved. They got hacked. The hackers are bad people. And ironically, now this is possibly being thrown back into Vitalik's lap and making it an Ethereum problem when it really isn't. However, Ethereum does have a public relations event opportunity, right? There is the Ethereum ETF. There is people who are going to say, hey, is this a moment where we can have confidence in this network? Now, the hack is not the network's fault, but the network can have a PR event where they make a statement about the hack or don't. It is interesting that when Ethereum goes up and perhaps Ethereum gains additional cred, if at all possible, that altcoins go up. Imagine how that works, right? That's the way it worked in the past. ETH carries DeFi, ETH carries altcoins, ETH carries everything, right? And everyone's like, oh, ETH sucks, ETH's dead. Okay. Well, how's it all working out on pump.fun? We're going to go over that. And if you have a decent meme coin, like I think I have a decent meme coin, right? Something that, has meaning and does something. it's a hard sell when the only thing that sells is pump.fun disaster stuff. But that's the Ethereum. That is the Ethereum situation as best as I can unpack it. Okay. Okay, so the joke is that the North Koreans have now started a $1.4 billion sovereign wealth fund using everybody's Ethereum from Bybit. It's probably not that far from the truth, but it's not funny, and somebody needs to come down on these guys hard, and I kind of hope the Orange Man does too. Like, the first thing I was saying was, well, this makes it harder for the Orange Man to talk about it. And then I was like, wait a minute. This actually makes it easier for someone to talk about it because someone's got to say, hey, you know what? We're not tolerating this. I wouldn't be shocked if the Orange Man's not on the phone with this guy right now going, yeah, but bro, you send our Ethereum back if you want to get along over the next 4 years. It actually is an opportunity to talk about the government's job. The primary job of government is to protect the people. What percentage of Ethereum was stolen compared to all the AUM? I believe it was around 70% of ETH assets under management. So they took 70% of the ETH on Bybit. Lazarus Group just connected the Bybit hack to the Phemex hack directly on-chain, commingling funds from the initial theft address for both incidents. So, sounds like the hackers are like, hey, look at all the ETH we stole. We got this treasure chest and that treasure chest, and we'll just put it all together so you guys can look at it. It's unbelievable. And this guy, Zach XBT, they should probably give this guy the Nobel Prize for finance or economics if they have it, right? Because what the guy's doing is like so revolutionary and outside the box. So here's Bybit launching recovery bounty program with offering up to 10%. So they're offering 10% of 1.4 billion if you can actually track these guys down. Interesting, right? They're not trying to, according to Simply Bitcoin, they're trying to convert it all into Bitcoin. Actually, that's not true, bro. ETH versus Bitcoin is actually going up. Matter of fact, ETH versus Bitcoin never went down. It never went down. I mean, I was on a live stream going, well, these things are normally not over in a day. And I'm looking over here going, oh, ETH versus Bitcoin is not down, which is funny because ETH versus Bitcoin has done nothing but go down for 2 years. That's kind of funny, don't you think? I was like, wow, is it time to start? There's a couple of bobs, like a couple of charts I was looking at before we got on here, like Secret Network, right? Looked at ETH, Avalanche, AIntivirus didn't go down off this. I'm like, oh, watch out for the small coins. Some stuff never even moved, right? And then some stuff turned around and went up. Okay, so Bybit hackers had begun moving portions of hacked funds. Again, they're doing this kind of all in plain sight. I guess they think they're not going to get caught or phone calls aren't going to get made. Again, the more blatant this is, Vitalik has a huge opportunity. Like, Vitalik's public relations teacher, whoever it is, I don't know. He might be on his third one in 6 months because they're not really doing it. He has an opportunity to step up to the mic and go, we're not going to allow this. We're not going to tolerate this kind of garbage. Now, you can't sit around, in my opinion, you can't sit around and say, we're better than Solana, or we don't want everybody talking about, like you could do whatever you want on Solana and Ethereum sucks. I don't know. I don't know if you can say that and complain about Solana and not step up if there's something that can actually be done about the attack. Even if it's just jawboning and saying this is unacceptable, we're going to take whatever action we can, whether they can do the surgical thing or not. We really should be hearing from Ethereum validators, like the big guys, they do have Twitter accounts. They're not invisible people. Okay. So Lazarus Group consolidates the hack. Now, I believe that we have an individual who is now deceased, and he became deceased on a live stream because he lost his last $500 gambling on pump.fun. Okay. So every day in crypto, we have the big famous rug pull, right? So this guy passed away from a meme coin live stream. And, and we have Kanye West. Now, what's unbelievable about this is that Toby actually predicted last year, like before Q4, that you would have a celebrity meme coin craze. And I was like, wow, that sounds bullish. Oh my God. I have my celebrity meme coin, but can we afford to have a giant rug with a guy like Kanye West with 33,000 33 million Twitter followers? I don't know, man. How much can the ecosystem take? Or this is the excess you see at a bottom, particularly when you have people being deceased. And at this point, I really can't believe that law enforcement is not going to be on the phone with Pump.Fun with this kind of stuff going on. I don't know how they regulate this type of excess in Las Vegas, essentially compulsive gambling. I do know that if this is what our ecosystem, if this is what the headline is for our ecosystem will have to purge itself before the market can go up. Now, could we be at that point? Yes, we could be, right? And if Kanye has a successful or a terrible launch, could that be the end? Yeah, it could be. It could be. We're headed for, I'm still trying to figure out what it means, but we're headed for some bizarre Gann planetary alignments at the end of the month, right? So not surprisingly, this brings out the Kanyes of the world. But what I do know is that quality will be back. And I know I always say don't make too much of any one day, but it is really nice to look at the screen and see an ETH lead and altcoins follow. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, hey, when ETH goes up, right, things get better. Things get better, right? Web3 has life when ETH goes up. And if ETH is not going back down again, and it probably isn't, right? Because you could have $1.4 billion worth of purchases on the part of Bybit. Honestly, because I don't know if they can hurt the hackers, as I understand it, by essentially cutting them off the Ethereum blockchain. But I don't think that means they get the 1.4 billion back. I don't think. And if you look at the way the market is trading, maybe everyone just got all bearish, worried, and scared, and that was the bottom. That's possible, because I was like, well, okay, 1 or 2 more days of this, maybe not. Breaking, CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, says the SEC has demonstrated a clear interest in moving on quickly from the failed regulation by enforcement policies of the last administration. The end of the SEC versus Ripple, right? It is not the job of a government agency to take someone into court, to have a judge make a law that Congress won't make. A judge enforces a law that lawmakers make. This is an end to one of the biggest farces in finance history. And frankly, I don't think it's fully priced in. Everyone is like, well, crypto will go up when we get regulatory clarification. Okay, well, maybe you need regulatory clarification on stablecoins, but what does that have to do with DeFi and Web3? Nothing. Like, you got regulatory clarification right here, because Brad is like, you know what? They're backing off. And now I can go do what I have to go do. And it's really funny that everybody all of a sudden on social media started giving up on XRP. I have no idea why everyone's doing that. No one wants ETH. No one wants XRP. And everyone's sitting around wondering why the market is terrible. Well, the market is terrible because people have lost faith in market leaders, right? And I saw a guy, and while we're on this subject, I saw a guy named Thomas Lee, right, who was, he's kind of an OG. He bull posted Bitcoin all the way down in 2018. That's how he got famous, right? Everyone tried to pressure him to lower his price target, and he wouldn't, right? And he full well knew it was going down in 2018. He just was like, I'm not changing my target. You can have me on the show next week to make fun of me about it. I'm still not changing my target. And you know what he said? Very simply. He said, you know what? If Bitcoin goes through 100K, there are a lot of people who could be like, I don't know, for lack of a better term, hosed. In his mind, max pain is Bitcoin clearing 100. And guess who's talked about this? Toby. She's like, look, dude, the day you get Bitcoin clear of this psychological number, right? Which I don't know, in her mind was like 120, right? In Thomas Lee's mind, it was like 108. If you get Bitcoin clear over 100, the Bitcoin supply shock factor starts kicking in. So let's think about this. ETH went up when it should have went down, right? Now here comes Eagle King. Oh, okay. Member question, safe to get back in. You know what, bro? I think so. I think it's safe. Whatever money you were going to put in, you can put in half. Not investment advice, right? Here comes an excuse to transition into free McAfee in every way. Tornado Cash developer leaves prison custody. So in case you don't know what this is about, somebody wrote some code and called it Tornado Cash. Actually, believe it or not, I was in an interview at a former company where they gave this guy who was interviewing 4 coins to pick through, and his job was to pick the favorite one that he liked. And, you know, we would see if it matched up what the boss liked. Well, as it turns out, Tornado Cash was the coin in that interview. Later, the guy who wrote Tornado Cash was just code, just computer code. They picked him up and they threw him in prison. That's it. There's no due process. They just picked him up off the street and threw him in jail. Okay, now, along with Free Ross, he's coming out. And people might ask themselves, what do you think about privacy? Should we get some privacy going on? Is that important? Transactional freedom? Yeah, I kind of think it is. So, you know, here's my pet project. It's not my project, but, you know, I like it a lot. It's near and dear to my heart, right? I interviewed Janice McAfee. It's essentially a meme coin that's attached to an AI agent of chatting and soon to be talking John McAfee, the original cryptocurrency sort of influencer, right? It was run out of town by every government agency and wound up deceased in prison under suspicious circumstances. This meme coin is attached to the AI agent, and the meme coin can be used to buy now 2 privacy services, which I have used personally, an eSIM card and a gift card. So no one can see it's you. And they came out with some sort of mixer on Friday. So they actually are developing stuff that you can use. And it's a meme coin attached to the guy that wrote the Declaration of Cryptocurrency Independence. And what happens when he gets back on the tape and starts talking again? So I recently interviewed his widow, right? They retweeted it through the main account, and 40,000 people have seen that in their feed. And I appreciate that level of exposure. And we have Ross, who was put in jail for building an e-commerce network that was used by bad people using Bitcoin. So a Bitcoin-based e-commerce network. Okay. Roger Ver, who's a Bitcoin Cash guy, he said free Ross in 2014, right? That's how long Ross has been put away. And I told you I met Ross's mom in 2017 at a Bitcoin conference. Never forget it, actually. Now, Ross out of jail is like, hey, free Roger. You know, Roger is also allegedly in trouble for a tax problem, and they want to put him in jail for 100 years, which is crazy. That's crazy. Absolutely nuts, right? You know, Janice says free Roger. And John McAfee was on the tape. Here we go. This is John McAfee with the purpose of cryptocurrency in 2018. In a speech where John McAfee is telling you, use cryptocurrency. Use it, right? Like participate in the ecosystem. You know, Pump.Fun is fine. I'm sure John McAfee would have liked aspects of Pump.Fun. But AIntivirus wants to use cryptocurrency. So why don't we do that? Can you imagine what happens if we use cryptocurrency? Or if we use something like AIntivirus to bring people back and say, hey, remember these guys? Remember Free Ross? Remember Charlie Shrem? Charlie Shrem went to jail, right? Let's go back to Charlie. Charlie Shrem went to jail, okay, because he developed the Bitcoin exchange way back when in New York City, and that they did Bitcoin transactions on behalf of the Silk Road e-commerce entity. So Charlie wound up in front of the judge, and they said this was a KYC problem, and Charlie went to jail. And Charlie's a felon, and he can't vote. Does that make any sense to you? It doesn't make any sense to me. These guys practically invented the idea of Bitcoin as money. There's a picture. I mean, we could dig it up where Charlie is at like a e-commerce conference, and he has the Bitcoin booth next to the PayPal booth. Way back when. Like, these guys were the OGs, like McAfee. Wait until we have talking McAfee. Wait until we can onboard people with privacy. Charlie onboarded people with Bitcoin. He told us back in 2017 and 2018 that if you can get your hands on Bitcoin below 10K, you'll be set for life. It's pretty hard to ignore, right? It's also pretty hard to ignore, you know, that we're ignoring cryptocurrency history, which can be like ETH leads, alts go, you know, XRP rallies, ETH rallies, right? You know, free Ross, free Roger, get John McAfee back on Twitter. Like John McAfee's on Twitter, but the AI agent is apparently a problem. We're trying to sort that out to help the project so we can get this AI agent, which is essentially talking, chatting John McAfee back online. Wait until the day where you push a button and somebody, the crypto influencer, comes back from the dead to do a crypto podcast. We can have him as a guest on the market update. SEC drops OpenSea investigation. Back in the day when they really wanted to make sure they could get McAfee, they used taxes and SEC charges on, guess what? On McAfee's Twitter thing called the coin of the day. So it was it was whatever coin McAfee thought was interesting or was paid to say was interesting once a day on Twitter. And you compare that to what's going on Pump.Fun. Think about it, about what these guys sacrificed to get the crypto market that you now have today. SEC acknowledges a slew of crypto ETF filings. So Solana ETF, XRP ETF, even the Litecoin ETF. You know, Litecoin, for all the things you might say about it, Litecoin does have a privacy feature. And I was on a big stream with Litecoin, Silent Swap. You know, I gave Silent Swap a lot of love on that stream. Secret Network may have bottomed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if some big hack comes out and something really, really horrible happens on Pump.Fun, you can make an argument that that was crypto's darkest day. You can make an argument that, you know, okay, it was finally so bad, you know, like ETH was brutalized and Pump.Fun got so ridiculously excessive. Maybe we can just get Kanye out of the way. And I don't know if there'll be any other, I don't know. I mean, if Kanye's thing succeeds or fails, I don't know. Could that possibly be the merciful end? We'll ask Toby on the member stream on Tuesday. She's the one who called it to begin with. Okay, let's check out what's happening in the market. So here's ETH on a 4-hour chart, which is a nice way of saying here's me being wrong. And believe it or not, I'm okay with it. So ETH is in a triangle and it breaks through the top and fails. And I'm like, That means they might break through the bottom, and they don't. It doesn't. Bybit comes back in and starts buying ETH again. I'm like, huh, who knew? Okay, Arrow is up. Okay, you got LuxAlgo coming in on an Arrow 4-hour chart. You know, after you had massive puking in this, like massive, right? Like everybody heaved out of this. Everybody said, I don't want to play anymore. Okay, there was a lot of heaving going on in Solana, ironically, but Solana's money flow is about to go green, right? In other words, this is back and forth here. It's not positive or negative, but this money flow on the Solana 4-hour chart. That's damn interesting to me. You got Solana on a big trend line that goes all the way back to 2023 right here at 172. That is your basic trend line analysis. You know, your DeMark Elliott wave, you know, this was like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 correction, 5 euphoric Trump coin, and then boom, you get yourself a little correction. All right on top of a trend line. Well, it's fine with me. Looks okay to me. What's the problem? It's the same thing with ETH. You know, we've been noting this for a couple of days. You know, there's a 9 bottom on the ETH weekly chart. You know, and as long as you don't have a failed rally, like, you know, you definitely don't want to see ETH like up 6% and down 10%. You definitely don't want to see that. I don't know, man. It looks like Bybit's underneath it. And even if they're not, ETH didn't go, the market didn't go down on bad news. Like the pumped out fund news and ETH and all this, it didn't go down. I sat here after I got off the stream yesterday. I was like, all right, it's going to go down now, right? No. So what did it do? I turned around and went up. You know, Toby says this all the time on the streams. You can't ride the bull if you're wearing a diaper. You have to take off your diaper in order to ride the bull. That's why we put the cowboy hat back on, at least on the thumbnail. I didn't want to wear it on the stream because, you know, there's a lot of pushback there. Avalanche up 6% today. Do you realize that Avalanche is all the way back to where it was when the election started? And, you know, you have this like, you know, February was a gigantic base for Avalanche and the headquarters is in Brooklyn, right? Even if you go to like Hedera, I was kind of like not happy. There's the 13 bottom in Hedera. You know, it needs a rally in order to confirm it. And if we could just get one, that would be great. Right? So far, this is looking all right. Yesterday's setback was kind of like changing whether or not this is or is not confirmed. This is a good looking bottom in Hedera. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, somebody's asking, hey, is it safe to go back in? According to these signals, it is. Right? I mean, if you're going to get stopped out, you're going to get stopped out. But where's the risk? The risk is that it makes a new low, right? And the reward is that it goes back and unwinds whatever the problem was this month. What was the problem this month again? I can't remember. It's the same as whatever the problems, you know, last month and the month before that. You know, is the yen carry trade? Is it tariffs? Is it, you know, what BS took the market down? The only thing that took the market down that made any sense to me is that the whole meme coin thing just got to a point where it was excessive to the point where fraud was acceptable, which wrecks confidence in the whole market. Now, hopefully we're done with that after this pump.fund news over the weekend. And then maybe we can get it all out of our system with Kanye West coins. Okay. Super chat. We appreciate that. Why don't you use the LuxAlgo liquidity grab feature? Okay. Well, I will definitely look into that. When I was taught LuxAlgo, you know, I was taught by, you know, one of the influencers, kind of the Grand Poobah. He told me what to stick with, but I can look into that. I would be happy to do that for you. Okay. And again, somebody's saying safe to get back in. Dude, look, let me say it this way. If it doesn't feel safe to go back in, you should probably go back in. That's a way to put it, right? In other words, when you look at stocks, I mean, stocks have support. And we talked about this on Friday. Okay. there's a lot of support. This is the S&P 500 cash. So like when you watch CNBC and they talk about the S&P 500, you know, the futures contract has a lot of good support here, but the cash index doesn't. And the cash index, you know, like every time the cash index sells, it's a bottom. You know, the only time it wasn't was back in July of last year. Okay. Now we'll see. Is there something out there that could impact stocks? If so, that could rattle crypto, or it could just be a gigantic decoupling, because I have no idea. Well, we know why equities are up, because the Fed is printing. That eventually transfers over to Bitcoin, eventually. And Thomas Lee's right. Stocks are down and Bitcoin starts to rotate up and take off. That's constructive. So, I mean, again, you know, you can have intense volatility, but I mean, if you look at DeFi, like DeFi as a whole has done nothing, right? But there have been plays inside of DeFi like Phantom, now Sonic, and Maker, right? Which I believe is now Sky. Okay. It just keeps going up, right? This is Sky. It just keeps going, right? And we'd be screaming DeFi, 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 DeFi for a long time, a long time, right? This is also Venice. This was also something that we've been looking at, right? This appears to be coming off a 5-wave bottom on a short-term chart. Okay. Again, it's interesting. Toby put Zcash on a watch list on a recent stream. Okay. So Zcash is running into a whole bunch of resistance here. It's got a LuxAlgo buy signal. The 200-day moving average is at 43. You know, and I would ask yourself, what happens if Zcash can clear the resistance? I mean, you don't do anything with it really until it does. But what happens if it did? Because I'm kind of interested in privacy. I'm kind of interested in transactional freedom. Look at Secret Network. Holy cow, right? This thing gets slammed. You know, it does nothing but go down after the election. LuxAlgo's coming in right on top of really good support. Again, another coin that has unwound the entire election rally. So it's like, you know, everything is great. Everything's a disaster. And now, I don't know, you have bad news and the market's higher. I'm okay with that. Like, I'll bull post the market when the market is down. It's easy to bull post the market when it's going up on bad news. It's going up on bad news. And LuxAlgo is like, hey, let's go with it. You know, Toby brought up Litecoin. Okay, we can look at that. I'm going to tell you what else I want to look at. Although this is like another box of chocolates under the bed. Like, you know, like Zcash, like AIntivirus. Okay, this is Litecoin on a daily chart, right? So it's up against a premium zone. So maybe Litecoin has done its outperformance. Maybe. Okay, if we look at like a bigger picture, okay, Litecoin is well supported, but there is resistance at the premium zone. Okay, so I'm not saying anything bad about Litecoin, but you know, the head of AIntivirus gave me the Bitcoin Cash pitch. Well, the guy, the project, I call him the project manager. Okay. Like he was showing me he showed me how to use the privacy feature on my, you know, just randomly purchased Motorola Android phone. Supposedly it's easier with iPhone. I'm going to try that too. Right. But he was telling me about Bitcoin Cash. I was like, this island that Roger Ver, you know, is effectively kind of trapped in, trying to avoid extradition back to the United States for not paying his taxes to an IRS, to an organization that, you know, apparently they can lay off 10,000 people right in front of tax season and not miss a blip. Okay. Bitcoin Cash is near its discount zone. And Bitcoin Cash, if you look at a weekly chart, hasn't done anything. Apparently, this place in Spain where Roger Ver is at, he actually set up the whole island with Bitcoin Cash infrastructure. Now, I don't think anyone's going to that island tomorrow, but it is interesting that this is transactionally fast Bitcoin. And if Roger Ver, if somebody ever got some common sense and said, you know what, maybe we should give this guy a break, this could go up a lot. Because this Roger Ver doesn't have a meme coin. Bitcoin Cash could be the Roger Ver meme coin. I mean, you know, think about it. Think about it, right? It's like there's antivirus and there's Bitcoin Cash to trade this like Bitcoin OG thing. Like, you know, the Ross meme coin really wasn't tradable. But what happens if the Ross meme coin, the Ross event triggers a chain reaction? Like say they give Roger Ver and Charlie a break and they let, I don't know, they should drop the charges against McAfee too, obviously, you know, particularly if you listen to the interview with Janice. Then again, if they don't, we can just have McAfee on the tape every single day, lambasting everybody. Sovereigns, right? Because, you know, the guys in Europe are still wackadoo, right? Sovereigns. How about Silicon Valley and these AI guys? Do we trust them with the future of humanity? And by the way, are we using cryptocurrency? The Declaration of Cryptocurrency Independence, written in 2018, where are we relative to where that document says we should be? And what happens if you have a walking, talking podcast and people go, you know what? I don't think I want Skynet looking at what I do. Altcoin buzz. This was the most bullish hack in history. The hacker can't sell ETH without getting it frozen. Vitalik will be taking a vote to make the token, the stolen ETH, unusable. Bybit handled the hack brilliantly. This all breeds confidence. It was supposed to go down and it didn't. So what's it going to do? You tell me. You know, unless this is your first show, you should be able to tell me. All right, let's go look at some more charts. This is like Bitcoin Cash weekly. You know, look at this giant triangle that it's in. It's holding on right down here at the bottom. The top of the triangle is at 623. Equilibrium's at 900. The current price is 346. Okay, now if we go to Banter Bubbles, which is what we use in the premium group to just tell people cool stuff, you know, we can check out what's worked and what hasn't. So this was some of the stuff that we liked for February of this year. Okay, so a lot of it didn't work, but Sonic Phantom DeFi did. Okay, Barachain is also something that we like because we like DeFi and we like what's new. Now, if we go to what you would call the HODL portfolio, so over the last week with the market falling apart, the HODL portfolio, Dusk, Real World Assets, Rune has a pulse after getting wrecked, ICP and ETH, Maple. And then if you look at this, Jupiter, Radium, and Solana destroyed, and perhaps justifiably so. But then again, maybe you have to ask yourself, is the pump.fun excess over? Is it over? Like, has it gotten so extreme with this poor person passing away and then Kanye? Are we done? Okay, so Maker, right? Okay, now under a different name, just mooned all week. Just went up, Fetch is up, Avalanche positive, the Graph, Polkadot. This was just some stuff from, you know, like say the Gemini exchange, you know, which has a limited choice. Then if you look at some of this stuff, like this was generally what we wanted to look at after the inauguration. So Clanker did well and Grass did well. That's DeFi for normies. We're also looking at Arweave, Secret, okay? Virtuals, we think we can come back. So if this is the type of thing that you're into, finding altcoins, right? I mean, you pick a bunch and one of them's up 100%, the whole portfolio works out even if the market is down. So if that is of interest to you, you definitely want to come and check us out. Definitely want to come check us out. Now, let's go back over to more live TA because I just can't get enough live TA on a day when ETH is doing well. and it's being called the most bullish hack in history. I have no idea if that's true or not. All right. So, okay. So this is a small project that I'm looking at, 0x0x. Okay. It's like AI and a possible music platform. It's kind of like the baby version of Lush, right? Somewhere out there, there are these AI agent plays that are going to wind up the next virtual. I have a group of guys who love doing this in their spare time. And, you know, I don't mind giving what they do some love, right? So they're looking at Lush and they're looking at 0x0x. That is definitely do your own research. I do not own those coins. Okay. Virtual. Okay. So, you know, will this come back? Can the AI agent meme coin space come back? My answer is yes, right? I mean, you know, Coinbase hasn't listed it yet because, you know, Coinbase Ventures probably cashed out by dumping on everyone's head. So no need to list it on Coinbase. So I don't know. They can dump on your head. I don't know. You know, I'm wondering when we're going to get these exchanges actually doing something bullish for the ecosystem. I guess it takes the SEC to pick up the phone and tell them to knock it off. Or it takes the orange man at the State of the Union address to tell him to knock it off. One of the two. I'm okay with either one. In any case, virtual, I don't know, it's retraced like 3/4 of what it did on the upside. You know, nobody wanted it at 0. At 5 billion, it was much more attractive. And now it's at, you know, 1.25 billion and no one wants to touch it. It's amazing, right? It is incredible. Like this McAfee coin is hanging tough at 10 cents, right at an $8 million market cap. It's a walking, talking dead guy brought back to life with AI, with a functionality that normal people can use. I used it. You know, it's like connect your wallet, sign up, boom. I had a phone out of a box working. Okay, but this is not the only example. This is not the only example. I mean, I'm just going to pull up the stuff that I remember, right? There's like AI16Z. You know, I'm sure there'll be another AI16Z one day. You know, this monster still has a $500 million market cap. 426 million to be exact. $500 million. And that's a 90% correction or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so either this doesn't go back up or AI has a new day. You know, up here, everything was worth $1 trillion. Down here, it's all worth 0. There's got to be an in-between. There's got to be this. No? I mean, if you go back to ETH, right? You know, what exactly has ETH done? Let's go to ETH monthly. No, let's not do ETH monthly. Yeah, let's do this. I say this from time to time. And, you know I'm getting tuned out, but I say it anyway. What exactly has ETH done over the last, I don't know, 3 years? Nothing. This is where FTX started from. This DeMark count is fascinating. It shows ETH still in an uptrend, and this was the candle where you should have bought a dip. That's so interesting. So that whole, whatever it was, the tariff, wick low, oh my God, tariffs, which a professional economist with 500,000 Twitter followers is telling you it's not an issue. So everyone's like, oh my God, you know, tariffs, this and that. And apparently this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's telling you get off the tariff thing. So, I mean, there are multiple ways to say this could be a bottom in ETH. The same way this was a top. The same set of signals that were here also exist here. And you could wake up on March 1st, you know, the biggest gift of this bizarre Gann alignment that's coming up that I'm still researching, because members in Patreon and the YouTube area will get that first. They will get that first, right? So these are the YouTube guys. These are the guys in Patreon, the Spartans, the OG. The Spartans are the commander of the antivirus samurai, right? The Spartans and the samurai together. Again, when you look at ETH, there's a lot of reasons for ETH to go up, right? And if you think about how like artificially depressed this is, like I keep saying this, I keep looking for ETH versus Bitcoin. I was actually happy yesterday because I was like, oh man, you know, ETH's going to underperform Bitcoin one last time, right? You know, maybe March is the month where the 13 bottom, these plus signals are like, well, a bottom, we're waiting. Oh my God. This thing opens up March and you have a 13 and a 9 bottom in ETH versus Bitcoin. Altcoins are going up for 3 months, if that's what you get. Now, I don't know who was saying altcoins could go up for 2 months because DeFi is already leading, right? Think about it. Let's go back to the ETH chart. Or actually, you know what? Let's go to Hedera daily chart, right? So what do we got here? ETH should have gone down and it didn't. If Bitcoin blows through 100K, you're going to have a supply shock. So you have 2 bullish catalysts and you have Bitcoin Vegas coming up in May. So you could have a supply shock and then you could have a gigantic bull post up in May. So I don't know who's going to want to be short or underinvested in Bitcoin, but if you're looking at this, you're probably sitting at home, hopefully watching my stream going, wait a minute, this was supposed to go down and it didn't. So what happens if Bitcoin goes through 100, ETH is done going down, Solana bounces off the trend line, all these XRP bears get smoked, everyone gave up on that way too early, and the orange man comes in and says, knock off scamming people, stop the nonsense, and let's invest wisely. Do you realize what would happen in this market if people just said, you know what, I want to invest? Just like they do in Legacy. Legacy goes, you know what, I'm sick of stocks. Right? Everyone's like, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold. Okay, buy gold. Gold should probably be at $5,000 an ounce, right? Because it's not an issue about the gold at Fort Knox. It's an issue about gold at the Fed, the New York Fed. That's the issue. But that's what everyone's talking about. So everyone's talking about bad things on Solana, bad things on ETH, bullish things on gold, bullish things on stocks, and nobody likes crypto. What happens if that suddenly reverses itself? You could have a big move because, again, it should have gone down and it didn't. And if Hedera, if you have an American-made crypto, I mean, the easiest thing for the orange man to do is just to say, I want all this American-made. He's telling Elon Musk, I mean, look at this. I mean, is there anything not clear about this? Elon is doing a great job, but I want him to get more aggressive. I want to double down. Double down on everything. I want the strategic Bitcoin reserve. I want no taxes on American everything. When it comes to crypto, I want everything made here. I want you guys to knock off the BS and stop hurting people. I mean, really, all he has to do is say that, and I think the market goes crazy. In other words, everything that they were saying before the election, really all he's got to do is say it again emphatically and give me some movement on a strategic reserve or the wealth fund. Something. And at this point, like I said, if Ethereum is in the mood to go up, like if they're positioning, you know, this is a bullish bad news, the market is vulnerable to a gap move higher, particularly in Bitcoin. Because I can also see Michael Saylor, once that thing starts to go above 100, Michael Saylor pressing the issue. Michael Saylor loves to buy. He doesn't like buying the dip. I mean, Michael Saylor is just one of those guys. Like, he loved it at 50 in 2021. At 50K in 2021, it was great. But at 16, it wasn't that attractive. But he held on. Michael Saylor likes to buy it when it's going up. So you have to ask yourself, if ETH doesn't go down and Bitcoin starts to go up and the excess on Solana hopefully comes to an end with Kanye, what's left to do? I don't know. I would say get back to business. That would be what I would say. All right. Let's see what we got here. A better shot. Let's go with the McAfee emoji. Algerian Black Swan over. Yeah, actually, dude, the white swan could be what's on the upside, right? In other words, we're just all done being stupid. Hopefully, with Kanye West is over. Like, I'm kind of hoping a Kanye West coin comes out, whatever it's going to do, it does, and then that's the end. Then the market can just go, you know, he'll suck a bunch of capital out of the system. But once that event is over with, and once everybody who's, you know, I don't know, going to do a crazy thing is done doing a crazy thing, then the market can go up. right? And someone's asking, like I said, if you're hesitant to go back in, I don't blame you. But, you know, it never trades good at a bottom. Like what did it look like yesterday? Everything's going down. Oh my God, you know, somebody's going to dump $1 billion worth of ETH into the market, right? Super chat requests. Okay. Can we hurry up and get an XRP clarity from the SEC? Dude, I think we have it. I think we have it. I saw some suspicious liquidity grabs happening on the daily Bitcoin chart. Lots of money moving, probably from exchanges or algos. Look, man, and I'm with you on this. I'll look at the liquidity grab feature. They are probably trying to get their hands on as much as they can before this thing turns. Remember, Fidelity was a big buyer of Ethereum. There's what they call in equities, a natural buyer of Ethereum, right? And he saw that, Arctic Seizure saw that before the Bybit hack announcement. You know, again, I'm not going to beat Zach XBT, and I appreciate you bringing your analysis to the show. You know, but at the end of the day, when the market went down, there were people down there waiting. You could see it. I mean, each should have been down 10% on that news, and it wasn't. It wasn't. Okay. So I'm with you on all this, right? And a final note, just in case you think they're kidding. Okay. They're just clearing everyone out. And they're going to continue to do this until everyone understands. Okay. Like, this is Kennedy's group. You know what I'm saying? They just were like, oh, okay, you guys are contractors, whatever it is. I don't know how they figure this out. Just see it. If they want it to happen, it's going to happen. And if he told Elon to double down and we need new forms of money, it's because they want rates down and the dollar down. I know I said that was it, but I am going to put the dollar chart up. We'll be on the air tomorrow. Okay, member request for Arweave. Okay, we'll pound that out. Let's pound that out first. First of all, we like Arweave. We do. So let's put that up here and check that out. Remember, you definitely want to be in the YouTube member area. Okay, Arweave, again, you know, you have this 13 bottom. I do like this DeMark stochastic thing where it marks it possibly as a low. And then this thing could just turn around and go to $14. Okay, and as this little sign below reminds you, if you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button if the content works for you. I don't know, man. This is like at 13 top in Arweave back in 2024 in May. This is the weekly chart, and now you have a 9 bottom. You got a 9 bottom. You have DeMark bottoming signals on weekly charts in a lot of cryptos. A lot of cryptos, man. You know, and if you look at DXY, right? There's a case for this to go lower. There's a case for this to go a lot lower, actually. Could break through the 200-day moving average. I mean, if the Germans stop arresting people or get an election where they can stop arresting people for what they post on social media, somebody might actually buy the euro and you know, the dollar would go down. Now, where people are just a little bit scared, just a little bit, is, you know, the dollar versus the yen is going down. Okay. The last time that happened, that was the big crash in 24. So there's a lot of macro heads saying that we're going to repeat and equities are going to blow up. And let's hope not. Let's hope not. Let's just hope it's a normal dollar down move. Okay. So let's sum this up. Meme coin excess may have reached a peak. If not, it'll be on Kanye's coin tomorrow or whenever that is. YouTube member area has been telling people to stay away from the meme coin casino in almost a painful kind of way, right? Because frankly, it's become immoral. Okay. And we have Web3 ideas, some of which I've gone over today, right? Where it's like, hey, if this thing's going to bottom and it's going to go up on good news, there's a whole swath of coins. We have a whole list of picks and we can just start sorting through and being like, okay, let's buy what's doing well. Buy what's going up. Buy what's going up, or buy what has a story, right? Buy what's going up. I don't know. That could be ETH and Secret Network, say. Buy what's got upside catalysts, antivirus, and Bitcoin Cash. Why not? And then I don't understand why everyone gave up on XRP. Toby has XRP targets, and we discussed it. Everyone is down on XRP. The new social media is bear post XRP. We don't agree. We don't agree. So I don't know why everybody is all negative on crypto, because it went up on bad news. And even if there's volatility, which there probably will be, which is referred to on the member live stream as wobble, because my co-host has slightly different terminology, which is fine, right? Because her terminology works. Even if the market wobbles, the Bitcoin supply shock, the XRP is fast money, the transaction task on American-made cryptos, the massive bearishness in ETH all adds up to like a banana singularity once the whole market breaks out at the same time. Okay, only two people Kanye West is following are two crypto guys, including CZ and a meme coin trader, as he gets ready to launch his meme coin. I know I said it was the final word, but I guess I have to leave you with this because this is the news of the day, right? So these are two guys that Kanye is following, meme coin trader and CZ. So I don't know if they're going to talk him out of it or talk him into it, or Binance is going to list it. But you know what it is funny about Kanye is that, Kanye is pretty vocal, and in some ways he's been right to tell the system to go, he may be considered the modern day version of John McAfee. I don't know. In my mind, there's only one John McAfee, but if telling everybody in the system to go get bent comes into fashion, and this is not a rug, I can live with it. But whatever it is, maybe that either ignites the system or brings the nonsense to an end. So expect a wobble, but if the market goes up on bad news, then get after it. Okay, that's the market update for today. I will see you tomorrow.